Okay, so in the first lesson we went and had a look at decimal places, rounding to 1 or 2 decimal places, and then last lesson we were rounding to significant figures. Okay, now what we're going to be doing today is to be estimating answers to calculations, and we do this all the time in day-to-day life. Okay, you know, when you you and your parents go to a supermarket and the final bill comes out, you're roughly going to know what it is. Okay, you're not going to know exactly, but you're going to know if it's roughly £40 or roughly £50. And if it was suddenly £5,000, your mum or dad are going to go and say, well, hang on, you must have pressed the wrong button there. So we're estimating all the time just to check the reasonableness of numbers. So let us imagine that we needed to know what 12 times 21 was roughly. Didn't need to know exactly, but we needed to know ballpark figure what it was. Now what it is actually is 252, but we want to know some way that we could very quickly, without a calculator, roughly work out what the answer is. So the key bit here, guys, whenever you're doing this, each of the numbers needs to be rounded to one significant figure. So there's a little bit of a lag at the moment, so I'm just waiting for the red to come through on your screen. There we go. So each of these numbers, the 12 and the 21, each of them needs to be rounded to one significant figure. So it will take a while to come through, but we're going to round each to one significant figure. And that's what we were doing yesterday. Remember, that's when you round each of the numbers to only have one number that is not a 0. Now, I think all the questions that I've set you today, it makes it clear in the question for you to round each of the numbers to one significant figure. But even if it didn't tell you to do that, it just said estimate the answer, that's what you need to do. Always round each of the numbers in the calculation to one significant figure to begin with. So step 1, I'm going to round 12 to one significant figure, which is 10. And then step 2, I'm going to round 21 to one significant figure, which is 20. So again, I'm just going to pause while that works its way through to you because it's been a little bit slow. So this is, there we go. So this is all of step 1, guys. Okay. Step 1, you round each to one significant figure. And then step 2, this will come through shortly in green. Step 2, you work this out. So you work this out in your head, having done that first step. So that's easy. What's 10 lots of 20? That's 200. Okay, so you know that's roughly telling us what 252 is. Okay, it's ballpark figure. It's telling us that it's not 2,000. It's telling us that it's not 20. It's in the region of £200. So again, I'm just going to wait for that to come through before I move on to the next slide. So 10 times 20. Gosh, it's a very, very big lag at the moment, isn't it? There we go. It's finally come through. So step 1 in red, we rounded each of the numbers to one significant figure. And then step 2, we did the maths. 10 times 20 is 200. So I'm just moving on to a second slide. Here we go. It's sped up a little bit. So we've got to estimate that calculation. So step 1, round each to one significant figure. So 3.12568 will be 3. Step 2, round 9.8963 to one significant figure. That will be 10. Remember, each of those numbers in green has only got one digit, which is not a 0. The first one's got a 3, the second's got a 1. And then step 2, you do the maths. So 3 times 10 is 30. And that is an estimate for what that question is at the top. So that's all we are doing today. Okay, so I'm just going to model a few more. And I just want you just trying to beat me to it in your head. I'm not going to give you enough time to write these down, but I just want you in your head thinking what's going to be written down. So 49 is going to round to 50. 31 will round to 30. And then we do 3 times 5 is 15, and we add the 2 noughts. So we know that 49 times 31 is roughly 1,500. So moving on to number 2, 19 to one significant figure is 20, and 19 again to one significant figure is 20. 2 2s are 4, and add the 2 zeros. And exactly the same for number 3. 21 is roughly 20, so that again will be 400. We're not trying to get it super accurate. We're just trying to get ballpark figure, roughly how much money would you be getting if you were given 19 lots of £19. Okay, just so you know if you're broadly speaking getting the right amount. Okay, the final one for us to do. Okay, so 3,942 to one significant figure would be 4,000. And 12.37294 would be 10. So it's just 4,000 and add another nought, giving us 40,000. So that's it for today, guys. So what I'd like you to do, I'm going to stop the recording now. If you could just go and see whether the questions have come through on Dr. Frost, and if you could, somebody could confirm whether they have or they haven't. I have found that they're lagging a bit. I scheduled them to become available to you at 10 past, but that might not have. They haven't.